either I have to have a cute background or I sacrifice the background for good lighting. Anyways, I have today four books to talk about. Was it 3 books or 4 books? I think it's 3 books plus 2 that I'm reading right now. So I've read 3 books so far in October. It is, I think, October 10th today. The first one that I read is my favorite series of all time, The Toll. This is actually a monstrosity of a big ass book, and it took me several months. We won't talk about it. I actually took a break, I think about like this much in, and I was very busy and I didn't feel like reading something very long, and also I kind of didn't want the series to end because I love the characters so much. So honestly, I'm considering making a separate video on just this book or this series because I loved it that much, and I just want to talk about why it's so good and what I think is so special about it compared to other like young adult dystopian novels. And I seriously think this series is so underrated. So if you are looking for like a nostalgia dystopia, like, you know, teenagers battling against the world, you know, I think you would really enjoy this. My husband is not a reader, and I forced him to read the first book, and he actually is really enjoying it. I was so surprised. I was like, thank God, because Second book, I have in my brain 2 categories of books. First category is books that I read purely for fun. I can turn off my brain and I can enjoy the plot and enjoy the characters and the story and not think too hard about it. That's the first category. The second category is books that make me feel so smart because they're old. And I actually majored in literature in university. So this is something, this cover, if it's a Penguin Classics cover, I've been avoiding it for like 4 years. Which is probably the opposite effect that university should have probably had on me. But I am getting back into it because I have more free time to read and I have more energy to read. So I decided to read this book, which is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I thought about reading her other book. I think it was The Haunting of Hill House by her. But I kind of wanted to read something really short and a little bit spooky vibes because it is fall. And usually I'm not much of a seasonal reader. Like, I just kind of read whatever I want. I'm a very moody reader. I read whatever strikes my fancy at that exact second. But this book actually was surprisingly easy to read. If you are looking to get into like the more like classic genre, or like you want something a little bit suspenseful, that isn't gonna make you fall asleep, this is pretty good. However, I had many problems with it as well. First being, okay, as you can see, I put many tabs in here. Usually I don't, please don't bark. Usually I don't really tab or underline things, but this book was really interesting. Like, I really enjoyed reading it. I enjoyed annotating it. I enjoyed like thinking through what the author wanted to say. It has a very confusing ending because nothing is explained. I don't want to spoil it because the whole point is the suspense and that you don't know who did it, who did what. But when you find out who did it, it's like, why did she do it? I slightly understood. I was like, I get her motivations, but also I wanted a more clear answer. I wanted a reason. They didn't give like a reason why things happened the way they did. So I thought it was a little disappointing. However, it is a very good suspenseful book, and if you go in knowing that you won't necessarily get all the answers, you will really enjoy this. And it's really short. It's an easy like Halloween spooky read, you know. It's 146 pages, so okay. And the next book that I have read is on my Kindle. It is Nothing More to Tell by Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus? I don't know, I'm sorry. This is the same author as that One of Us is Lying. I believe it's the one that also became a Netflix show. I think I watched the first season a long time ago. So, Nothing More to Tell is about a 17-year-old girl. Ooh, 17? 18. 18? Senior in high school, who lands an internship at a true crime company, and she really wants to become a journalist, but she also has an ulterior motive, which is figuring out who killed her favorite teacher, Mr. Larkin, 4 years ago, before she moved away from that town. And then she came back senior year, so she was in there until she was at that school until 9th grade. Her teacher got, and then she comes back. And she does not want to be back there, but she investigates, basically. And she is a very, she doesn't, okay, here is the problem I had with this character. Her personality is very convenient. She is like the most logical and mature 18-year-old I've ever seen in a book. I've ever seen in real life. I know I wasn't that logical when I was 18. However, she makes a lot of stupid mistakes and like almost gets her like fucking family like you know, like I mean, I guess that's all in the idea of like, you know, she's 18, she makes stupid mistakes, but she's also trying to do her best. However, I feel like we gotta choose a side. We either gotta be logical and cautious and intelligent, or we gotta be a little bit reckless and crazy. However, this book, oh my gosh, y'all, I started and finished this book in like 14 hours with sleep in between. So I slept for a full 8 hours and then I finished the book. So it was really, really suspenseful and really suspenseful and exciting, and wow. If you are looking for a young adult, not a thriller, mystery that has so many twists and turns, whoa, where are we going, up and down, side to side, circles, you will love this book. I usually like those kind of books. I really like books that are making me question myself, question everyone. Oh, who did it? Did she do it? Did he do it? 10 out of 10 recommend. Okay, now that I got that out of my system, you do have to suspend your belief a little bit. This is not a spoiler because it's on the first page of the book. How the heck is a high schooler landing a internship at a huge journalism true crime company just for one case? This main character, she only involves herself in one single case, yet she lands an internship at this huge company. Okay, that's a little unbelievable. The next thing that I thought was unbelievable was technology. And I've noticed this happens a lot in books, especially mystery or like thriller books. The technology is not really used. It's used very conveniently. So she will have her phone and she'll be sending messages, and obviously like we're in the era of iPhones. We're in the era of full on, you know, you have no excuse. You got technology. But the security cameras don't pick up someone doing this or doing that. Like there's no CCTV footage. Like it's a little unbelievable at times. However, if you can suspend that, if you can be like, it's okay. Maybe we just have our Nokia cell phones and there's no camera footage in schools because there's no danger in American schools. Yeah, we can pretend that's not a thing in the real world. If you can do that, you'll enjoy it. But I do recommend it, even so. It is a good book. And the next book that I want to talk about, let me sip my coffee real quick. So now I have finished talking about the books that I read so far. Finished, finito. That is my cat. If you can hear my cat, she's trying to open a bag of chips. Okay, I'm back. What was I talking about? Okay, now we're into the books that I am currently reading, and there are two. I can never read one book at a time. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm like this, but it is the truth. The first book is Uprooted by, I'm trying to do this by memory, Naomi It's about a 17-year-old girl who gets basically yoinked by the dragon man, like the protector of her town, and he takes a 17-year-old girl every 10 years, so she got yoinked. I don't want to say too much, but I don't know what's a spoiler and what's not, but she is basically like a really feisty kind of gal. Like everyone thought, oh, they're gonna take my best friend, so she was like super worried, and she was like, oh, my best friend's leaving, like she's gonna get snatched, but she's the one who got snatched, you know, plot twist, wow, crazy. The plot is not super exciting so far. I am listening to the audiobook and I am 2.5 hours to 3 hours in, and so I'm very early in the book, but so far it's not super like, wow, like exciting, crazy shit's happening. It's more like, oh wow, this is like the situation, and she's learning how to grow and like live in it, and she's learning like magic, and like it's very cozy. It's very good, cozy fall reading, in my opinion. I would really recommend it as like a cozy book. And I believe it's supposed to be like mostly a romance, which has not appeared yet. So I think probably my prediction is that the first half of the book is gonna be just her like learning and settling in and like figuring out how to live, basically. And then the second half is gonna be like something happens with a dragon and they're gonna, you know, that's just my guess. But however, I am really enjoying it because the writing is really lyrical. Not lyrical, but the writing style is like very melodic. It's beautiful on my ears. Even though I'm listening to the audiobook, I'm like, wow, this sounds nice. Like I feel like if I read this on paper, I'd be like, man, this is well written, you know? And I really like it so far. So I have really high hopes for this book, and I'm hoping that it doesn't disappoint me. It is a standalone, and it's not a series, and so if it has a bad ending, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm just kidding. Okay, now I look like a lunch lady. Would you like hot dogs or fries with your meal? And okay, the last book that I'm gonna talk about, which I am currently reading, is The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Hallett. Okay. This book, I have no idea what's going on. I literally, okay, here's the thing with me. I'm an impulse buyer. I'm an impulse shopper. I'm an impulse buyer. It is one of my greatest flaws. It is why I cannot save money, okay? So, I impulse bought like $200 worth of books. Here's the thing. In Korea, I live in Korea, we do not get Amazon books. We cannot order books on Amazon. I don't know why. They don't ship to Korea. So, I always have to order on this Korean website that sells books, but they're so expensive. Like, they're like double the price of just getting it off Amazon or something. That's why usually I read on my Kindle. Like 9 out of 10 times I'm gonna say, I read it on Kindle, it's on my Kindle, you know, I got the ebook because it's cheaper. This, however, I read the reviews and it said like it was a multimedia novel. So I was like, if I'm going to spend money and buy a book, I should buy the one that has like a special need to have the physical, like, you know what I mean? Like, reading this as an ebook would be a little weird because it's all like texts and interviews and phone calls and news something. And so I'm really glad that I bought the physical one. And also the cover has like that kind of velvety, it has a nice finish to it, so I really like the cover. And it's kind of cool. It looks cool on my shelf. It's a honker-donker of a book. Here's the toll. This one's not even a small book. Look at that size difference, bro. Oh my gosh. I know this is a fiction crime with a little bit of horror aspects, maybe. I don't think it's like a horror novel, but it's like got some intensity to it. I don't know. I've never read a mixed media book like this, so I'm kind of excited. And I feel like I'll get through it really quickly. Just because, like, you know, like, the pages, the words on the pages, like, there's not that many, you know. So even though it's pretty long, it's like 400 something pages, it shouldn't be too hefty. And I have my little flower bookmark. Narcissus. I actually didn't know that was a flower name. Am I dumb? Like I only knew about the Greek guy Narcissus, and then how the word came from the. Anyways, yes. So that is all the books I have as of October 10th, and I think I will make one more video around the end of the month and kind of sum up. I may review as I go, or I might do a summary. I haven't decided, so we will see by the end of this video.
I went to some cute cafes this month. Here are some clips.
Hello, we're back with part 2 of my monthly reading. So I have written down all my notes on the books that I've read this month, and this has been such a weird month. This month I have started and dropped more books, I think, than I have ever done. It's actually like crazy. I don't know what happened this month. A lot of these books that I dropped are really popular. Please don't crucify me. I have reasons for all of them. No, I'm in trouble. Okay, listen. We're just gonna get into it. I am very nervous, but let's get into it. Okay. First book I want to talk about was the one that I left off reading in the first part of my video, which is Alperton Angels, and I think I rated this 4 stars, I believe. I actually really like this. This was a really good book. I know I already talked about it a bit in my first part, but it was very high-paced and exciting, which is great. I was up till like 3 a.m. at night, like, reading it. It's so good. It's actually really good. If you really like true crime or like things about like cults, then you will really enjoy this. The plot twist at the end was really good. I did not see it coming at all, and I did not see that ending coming. But honestly, I think it was a very good, like, fitting ending to the character story, because I really like how basically nobody got their... What is that saying? They're just cakes? They're just desserts? Anyways, it wasn't exactly like a happy ending. So if you like happy ending books, I would not read this. But it was really fun and good, and I really recommend it. The multimedia format was very well done. I really enjoyed it. And I thought it was really funny because you can kind of tell someone's age by how they write texts. You can kind of tell someone's age by how they write text messages and like the lingo that they use in a text, which I thought was really funny. However, it was a really enjoyable book, and if you want to read something fast that'll keep your attention, go for it. My only gripe with this is that there were so many characters, because the main character has a lot of connections to other people in the industry, or just like people she finds out about connected to the case. So I get why there are so many different characters, but then I lost track, and then when it came to like the plot twist at the end, I was like, who is that again? And I had to like flip back and find who the character was. I was like, okay, I get it now. The next book that I need to talk about is Uprooted, which I also already talked about in the first part. So here is a screenshot of my current progress in the audiobook. I haven't been listening to it much. I'm not sure why, but I haven't been really in like an audiobook like mood recently, or I haven't had like any time to where I can just like listen to the audiobook like cleaning and stuff. However, so far I would say I am really enjoying it. It is very slow and like slice of lifey. If you guys like slice of life anime, you might like this. and not a lot happens, but there's like small like plot points that happen, but nothing like, there's no like huge overarching plot at the moment. So it is very like slow paced. However, I do really like the world building and the characters right now. You can kind of see how they will develop, and they're kind of like predictable in that sense, but it doesn't make it less enjoyable. The next book I read, this might get me crucified, please don't kill me, everyone, please don't kill me. I read and dropped The Raven Boys. The first book in the Raven cycle, I read and started and dropped it. Listen, I read this on Kindle and I dropped it at 30%, 25 or 30%, somewhere between there. I don't know. I feel like middle school or high school me would have ate this book up. But 26-year-old me, old and jaded and needs Instagram Reels 24/7 to focus. I know, my attention span has been so bad. Anyways, current me is like, this shit's boring. It's boring. Literally every single YouTuber and like Goodreads like person that I follow, all of their reviews are like between 3 and 5 stars. I see so many 5 stars and I was like, I am going to love this book. Yo, I'm so sad. I really, really, really wanted to like this book. So my big issue, I've noticed this is a recurring problem with several of the books that I dropped this month. For me, I need a cast of characters that I can really, really, really get attached to. I need to be able to feel what they're feeling and understand what they want and why they want it. This book, I couldn't get into the characters, and so I know like there was Blue, who is the main character, and then there's like 5 boys in the group, whatever. Anyways, it seems to me like I need to love Gatsby. Wow. Or I need to love some of the boys. Like, it feels like they're setting it up so that a teenage girl would love the boys. However, I am not a teenage girl anymore. So for me, everything just felt super angsty, and like the fighting and like the fist fighting and like the family arguments, it all felt super angsty, and so I couldn't connect to any of the characters except for Blue. If it was only told from Blue's perspective and not any of the guys, I know it like switches perspective a lot, but I feel like we should have just been Blue and we should have just followed her and learned information as she learned information. It felt very, I don't know how to say it. It was so angsty. I just couldn't connect to any of them. And also the story didn't really interest me. I was like, because I don't really care about the main characters, I don't care about what they want. So, I
almost called him Gatsby. Gansey. Did I call him Gatsby earlier?
Gansey has this whole goal of finding like this ancient blah 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 blah, the ley lines, whatever, and I know there's gonna be like a whole plot thing there. However, I don't care about Gansey, so why should I care about what he wants? You know, like, you need to set that up with the reader first. So however, I can totally understand why people really love this book. I just couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. I feel like maybe someday in the future this is one of those books that I'm totally willing to try again in like 2 years and be like, okay, let's see if I like it now. There are several books that I have dropped when I was younger that I feel like I would enjoy now. So I feel like I could always give this another try later, but for now, it didn't resonate with me. The next book is thankfully not a drop. It is a 5-star. Bunny Farm. Oh my gosh. Okay, listen. If you are an animal lover, yes. 100% yes. I went into this because I love animals. If I could, I would drop everything and live on a farm and rescue animals for a living too. What the hell? But what I was not expecting was very emotional and like it was a very emotional but how can I explain this? We got a really deep look into the author's childhood growing up and like the shit that she went through when she was young. And girl went through some stuff, man. Come on now. However, this was not a pity party. This was not like, oh, it was me. I was a poor sad growing up. No, it's not like that. She turns all of that crap, the terrible stuff she had to grow up with, and she turns it into something good, which I find so admirable. No matter how bad her life got, she always managed to turn around. Of course, she didn't come out unscathed. Oh, but it's so good. I love this. So, 5 stars. Here's something that I wanted to talk about with this book. I have read a few biographies, not that many, but I read the ones that like kind of interest me, if the topic interests me. I love true crime. I really enjoy true crime. So I have read Unmasked by Paul Holes. I have read this book. I think I read it like last year or maybe early in this year. I think early this year. This book is about, this is the guy who caught the Golden State Killer, and it's really interesting. It has a lot of really interesting information about the case. It is really interesting. However, I am going to show you why I didn't like this book. So this book is advertised, marketed as Catching the Golden State Killer, which is what I came here for. I didn't come here to hear about his divorces. I didn't come here to hear about how he neglected his family. I just hate this guy. To be honest, I don't like this guy. He sounds like a piece of shit. So we have, for example, I won't spoil it. I mean, what's there to spoil? Chapter 17. This whole chapter is about his personal life and his marriage or divorce or whatever. Okay, cool. Chapter 18. Okay, here's something about related to the crime, whatever, okay? 2 pages later, this is a completely different case altogether. He just sticks some random cases in there, which is okay. I get it. But why did I read this? I didn't come here for this, Mr. Holes. I came here for Golden State Killer. I came here for true crime, and instead I gotta listen to you talk about your divorces and how you neglected your family. I'm not interested. So what I didn't like about this is what this book did really well. Yes, we talk about our divorce. We talk about our childhood being like, I can't say these things on YouTube, but we talk about our bad childhood. But half the chapter is about animals. Okay, this is a bit of a longer chapter. So, for example, chapter 10, this is about her life. And then we have animal tales. Every single chapter has this animal tales section, which is really cool. I think that's great. I think she really balanced it well. And the stories about the animals are so awesome. They're so cute. And I love animals. I just love animals. 10 out of 10 recommend. Even if you don't super duper love animals like me, if you're just like a casual lover of like a good nature documentary once in a while or like a dog, like read this. I cried at the end, bro. I never cry, bro. I never cry when I read like biographies and stuff. Also, there's some cute pictures inside. So, recommend. Good book. Next is, oh no, I don't want to talk about this book. This book is also going to get me crucified, bro. Another Kindle book that I read. Red Rising. Help me. I hated this. I think I dropped it in the first like 50 pages. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I read like 50 to 70 pages and I was like, Nar, bro. I'm so sorry for this, guys. My biggest problem with this book was I think I set myself up for failure here. I was looking for books that are like the Scythe, Arc of a Scythe series. Yeah, so I saw Red Rising as probably the top recommendation if you liked the Arc of a Scythe series, which, as I mentioned, is my number one favorite, my pride and joy, like the love of my life. I love that book so much. The whole series, I love it. So I decided to try Red Rising. This is nothing like it. There's nothing similar about it. First problem I had, the the writing style. It was so atrocious. I know there are some people who like this kind of like edgy, ooh, I'm a real man, fuck these other guys, they're all pigs, whatever. There are some people who like that writing style. I don't like it. I don't like that kind of writing style. I don't like that kind of main character. Even if we see some development later on, I know that shit ain't gonna change. I know it's gonna be the same thing. It's not for me. I got so tired of the writing style that I picked up my Kindle and I was like, oh, I'm getting stressed. Like, I don't want to read this. Like, I was... Next, the whole thing that I read was almost entirely information about the world and the world building. I do not want to read an essay about the world. Just give me a little plot at least with the world. Like, it has to be dispersed, bro. I cannot do high fantasy. I'm realizing slowly that I cannot do high fantasy unless it's like well balanced. Unless the story and the world building are balanced. And you know what? This is the exact same problem that I had with my next book, Threads That Bind. I dropped this one at 40%. The characters were okay in this book, but again, there's no balance between world building and characterization. No balance. Bro, I kid you not. It was like line, someone says something, oh, let's go to the Oracle, whatever, just pretend. Let's go to the Oracle. And then paragraph. Who are the oracles? Where do they originate from? What are their effects on the world? Like, it just tells you everything in one go. It is the definition of tell, don't show. I hated it. So I think those two being back to back really put a terrible taste in my mouth for like these books, like these fantasy books. And honestly, like, you know, if it's gonna be that much exposition and world building, like, it feels like a job almost, like getting through it. If I have to open the book and I feel tired and I'm like, oh, I don't want to read this, it's not my job to read these books. Reading is my hobby. It's not my job. I don't need to force myself to push through it. So even though people say like, oh, like maybe try to read like half of it or maybe it gets better in the second part of the book, I'm like, why should I? Like, if I'm not vibing with it, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my energy. My you know, I don't have that much free time, you know, like I want to enjoy the books that I'm reading. So I read the reviews for Threads That Bind after I dropped it, and I was like, honestly, sometimes if I read spoilers for the books and I look at something and I'm like, oh, maybe it sounds good, then I won't drop it. No, I'm glad I dropped it, to be honest. The reviews were saying the same thing that I'm saying right now. And if you like the love at first sight trope, you will like this book. This book is like really weird because the whole premise is that this guy is her soulmate. This is not a spoiler. She has a soulmate. However, why are you in love with him? Like, it's like, he's your soulmate. This is what I think the Raven Boys did better than this book. Both of them had the kind of like destined man, soulmate that they had to be with, right? But in Threads That Bind, it was like insta love. It was just immediately, no reason, but just in love with this guy. I don't know why. I don't know what made him so special. Like, yeah, he was nice to you, girl, but like, come on, there's other fish in the sea, you know? And so I'm not really a fan of the insta love thing. I need to see some progression. I need to see some relationship building. It doesn't work for me. So, Threads That Bind dropped. The last book that I dropped. Oh, I am so sad about this book. It is The Goblin Emperor. Catherine Addison. Hello, Catherine. Catherine, I'm so sorry. I really wanted to enjoy this. I think it was just me. I think I'm the problem when it comes to this one. I read, this much. This is the front cover. So like 40%. I read a good chunk of it. To be honest, you guys might like this. I think I'm the problem. So this is very much a like palace / court book. And everything takes place in the palace. You don't get to see much of, well, as far as I got, we didn't see much of the main character's past or his childhood. It's kind of like sprinkled in there, which is okay. But for me, again, characterization is really important for me. I want to see their tragic backstory. I want to see their past. I want to feel bad for them. You know what I mean? And even though we did get some of that, it wasn't enough for me to really care about the main character. Back to this, back to the actual story. It is a palace story where basically, this is not a spoiler because it's in the blurb. The main character, I hate this cover, I'm not gonna lie to you. The main character is like the fifth son of the king who is never gonna become the king. He was like outcast because he's half goblin and like he's nothing. He becomes king because everyone dies. And so he gets like pushed into the court and the politics and all that. But I don't know why the tension is so low and the stakes are like not there. I don't know, it's because like I didn't get far enough, but I feel like by now there should be some tension building. So that's why I was so bored. And there are a lot of characters. I don't know who's important. I don't know who I should be remembering. I don't know how to pronounce their names. Like, I don't know. It was too much for me. Too much for my brain. Maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know. But this is a very politics-heavy book. And girl, I don't even like real politics. I'm not even interested in that. I can't get into politics in a fake world, you know? I think I would have liked this more if there was more drama. And if we could, like, walk around the whole pile, like, I would say up till now, most of it was having meetings with random people and, like, oh, you should pay attention to this person because he has, like, control over this area. Like, it's very, politics. So much politics. I just want to see the palace. I want to see the gardens. I want to see him, you know, like, have some, like, it's very formal. It's formal in the sense that there's not really any drama. It's just casual. Like, I think I'm the problem. I genuinely think I'm the problem here because it's not tickling me. It doesn't tickle my ooh, something crazy is gonna happen, you know, like something's gonna happen and he's gonna like, I didn't feel any tension, so it wasn't really particularly interesting to me. So I feel bad. But if you like that kind of book, like kind of a slow burn, like court politics book, I think you could like this. I think it's just me, genuinely. It's just me. I have gotten through all of the books that I read and dropped this month. I cannot believe I dropped 4 out of 5 of the books. I can't believe it. You know, this month I was trying to challenge myself to read lots of like popular books, like books that have like been popular for a while that I felt like I'm missing out on. Like I have FOMO, you know, not reading these books. So I tried my best, but it seems so my currently reading, again, I am still reading Uprooted, but I started The Housemaid. And I know I just talked about not reading popular books, but I read a wide variety of genres. However, I think that my favorite is mystery thriller. Usually, I would say like 9 times out of 10, it won't go wrong for me. So this one I know is extremely popular, so I figured I might as well give it a shot, and I know it's fast-paced, so I feel like I read so many like slower or like world building based books recently that I need a break from like the whole fantasy genre, and so I decided to pick this up. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm just started. I'm on page 28, chapter 4. I'll let you know how that goes. I also wanted to do before I end this video a mini haul because today I went to the bookstore and I got a few books. Look at this cute bookmark. It's a capybara riding a duck. I love capybara and duck. I have a duck right behind me. I have a poster on my wall with 3 ducks on it. I love ducks. Anyways, that is so cute. I was so happy when I found this. I almost bought like 5 different ones. So the first book I got is this one, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Listen, this is a little embarrassing. It was a little embarrassing for me to pick this up and carry it around the store because this is like, I don't know why it embarrasses me. Maybe the title, maybe, I don't know what it is. However, I have really wanted to read this series for a long time. And I'm hoping that I really like the first book because I'll go back there and buy the second book. Yeah, I know that this is a mystery thriller, young adult, something or another. With mystery thriller, anything like that, I don't like to know too much information before I go in. I just like to jump in. So I'm really excited to read this. Next book. This one scares me. I honestly don't know why I got this. I think I've been influenced. The Three-Body Problem. And you know what? This is a wrapped cup. All the books in Korea are like wrapped in plastic. I don't know. I get it because it's like to keep it clean and like not people don't get their grubby little hands all over it. This is the only copy I could find without the huge Netflix sticker. Without the huge Netflix sticker or the other cover, like there's a red cover with like a different person on it. This is the only one I could find. And so I was digging through the books and I was like, oh, where's the non-Netflix? I don't want the Netflix sticker. And I found this one. So I'm happy that I found this one. I know it is very sciencey and I'm very scared because I'm not good with science stuff. But I did read, it wasn't The Martian. It was his other book. Oh, Andy Weir. Not The Martian, but the other one. Anyways, I'll put it up on the screen. I read that book and it was pretty sciencey, but I still really enjoyed it. So honestly, I think I could enjoy this even so. And I know it is a Netflix show and I have not watched it. So maybe if I like this, I'll watch the show. And the third and final book that I got is The Golden Gate. I've actually never heard of this book before, but that cover was speaking to me, you know. I went on Goodreads and I looked it up and like the reviews were like, it wasn't bad. And I thought it was pretty. And I was like, you know, it sounds like another mystery set in China or something. Never mind, it's in California. I'm dumb. Anyways, this sounds like fun too. So also with this one, I don't want to know too much about it. So I'm probably not going to read any reviews. I'm just going to jump into it. Yeah. So that's my little haul. And I am going to get into reading this. And that is the end of my video. So if you liked it, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Leave me a little heart emoji. Give me this heart. Isn't this the heart emoji? Yeah, give me this emoji. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Bye everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.